Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining the webinar here today about ReportPlus. So I'm just going to jump right into it. This session will be recorded in case anyone joined a little late. So just to get started, ReportPlus, the content of this webinar is really getting affordable analytics for all. And what we mean by that is enabling your employees, your organization, your customers. Obviously we live in an age where there's a lot of data and people need to make better decisions off of that data. So the real question that we're trying to solve with ReportPlus is how do we, as employees, businesses, use our data intelligently to make better decisions. So we want to be able to help with ReportPlus organizations, and we already do with the application that's been out for about 3 years, to enable them to help their employees, their customers make data-driven decisions. And the challenge that we've felt has always been that the tools out there are too complex, too expensive for an entire organization to use, and then for the average business user to use. So we've really focused on simplifying that experience, making it very easy, and then being on the mobile device where people are actually going to consume those metrics and view those things. So let me just give a little background on Infragistics, the company, in case you're brand new to Infragistics and ReportPlus, and then a brief little intro about myself. So Infragistics has over 25 years experience helping developers build and deliver awesome user experiences through web, desktop, mobile applications. And about 3 years ago, they developed a mobile-first data visualization software called ReportPlus. And then myself, my name is Bill Mazer. Right now, I'm currently the product manager for ReportPlus. I have 10 years in product systems analysis, account management, and BI, mobile point of sale, so from retail to HR, digital media, telecom. And I'm also a full-time data nerd, so I threw a little joke in there. And if you want to follow us, I put the tag there on Twitter if you'd like to follow Infragistics and myself on Twitter. All right, so let's jump right into it. So right now we're, about a year ago I had this slide, and this slide said the coming age of, data, big data, and mobile. Well, we're already living in that age, right? Gartner predicts that enterprise data is going to grow 650% over the next 5 years. So you see that chart on the right-hand side, from enterprise data to social media to Internet of Things, sensors. The amount of data points is just set to explode and grow, and it's already happening. And then 89%, Citrix ran a study, and 89%, and I actually think this is probably low now, 89% of business users access apps on their mobile devices. So employees, they really need tools that can help them make informed decisions wherever they are. So they need it on mobile, and they need to be able to access their data without the help of IT. Do it themselves, and then be able to share those insights with others easily. So let me start talking a little bit about ReportPlus. We're going to go through the main benefits of ReportPlus, and then I'll talk to you about the different offerings we have for ReportPlus. And then the last thing we'll look at is a product demo. I'll actually show you the desktop product and our iOS product as well. So one of the key stories that we have is what we call true self-service business intelligence. And what we mean by that is allowing business users to gain insights on their data from wherever they are on any device. And we really think that this is our key differentiator between us and the other tools out there. And that with ReportPlus iOS, you can create those reports and author reports directly from those devices. So you're not stuck having to be at your desktop. You don't need to have your person in IT help you. Literally from your phone or your iPad, you can connect to that data, create some visualizations in a dashboard, and then share those insights. So it's instead of your typical BI project that's within weeks or months, even with some of the other newer tools. With ReportPlus, if you get a hang of the product quickly, you can do that within hours, days, and have those insights shared, across your organization. And then a key part to understand of ReportPlus is we connect currently to over 20 different data sources. So whether it's a simple Excel file that's on Dropbox, or your dynamic CRM, sales data that you're trying to access, or some SQL data that you're looking to gain insights on, or even social networks like Twitter and Facebook, you can do that with ReportPlus on all our different platforms. And then the last piece at the bottom here, we're obviously going to constantly be adding data sources to our portfolio. So coming up in the next few weeks, we'll be adding Box and OneDrive. So we really want to make sure that one trend that we've noticed is that our users, they still use Excel for as much as people want to use high-tech data sources and more complex data sources. A lot of people still use Excel and Google Sheets and the simpler type of data sources. So we want to just make sure we support those other cloud storage providers like Box and OneDrive that are big and from small businesses to large enterprises. And then the last one here will also be supporting custom data sources. So if you have a desktop application that uses some of our developer tools products, you could actually pull that in-memory data source and sort of extend your application, the visualizations in your application with ReportPlus. All right, and then so the next few slides I'm going to go through what our offerings are around ReportPlus. So we have this goal of getting analytics to everyone, enabling the average business user across the organization to make better decisions around data. So these are three of the ways that we do that. So the first is ReportPlus Desktop and Mobile. And this is the version of our product that you can buy either through our website, self-service, or through the App Store, which many of you have already. And this gives you access to ReportPlus on iOS, desktop, and Android. So on any of those devices, you can create a dashboard, and then they'll be synced across your other device. So you could be, at your desk one day creating a dashboard on your desktop machine, and then be in a meeting, pull up that same dashboard on your iPad, and project that dashboard onto a screen. And all the data that we connect to is synced in real time, so you're looking at the current view of that data, and no matter where you are, you have access to those key metrics that you're tracking. All right. The next solution I want to talk about is ReportPlus Server. So ReportPlus Server is really a flavor of ReportPlus that allows you to deploy on-premise. So if you don't want to use our cloud service out of the box that comes with ReportPlus Desktop and Mobile, you can use ReportPlus Server. And that, in addition to giving you iOS, Android, and Windows Desktop, it also gives you access to those dashboards through a web application. And in that web application, as you see on the screen here, you can set certain permissions based on folders and users. So it's really a little more IT-friendly, allows you to deploy on-premise, and just another way that if you're looking to enable a whole group of people quickly, you could use ReportPlus Server for that. And then ReportPlus Embedded is really our developer story. So building on our history as Infragistics, as a company that's helped build developer tools and help developers build amazing experiences, we've built ReportPlus so that it can be, the dashboards and visualizations can be embedded into other applications. So whether you have a desktop application or a web application or an iOS application, you can take the dashboards that you create within ReportPlus, and with a few lines of code and some setup, put those dashboards into your application. So it's just a way for you to, create new revenue streams, so add some value for those users by having, you have their data, you're visualizing that data now within their application. A way to get to market quicker, so you don't have to build all the out-of-the-box interactions and connectivity to the data sources that we support. We help you with that. And you're just able to focus your development resources on what you truly deliver value on, instead of instead of being busy developing a business intelligence tool on top of the software that you've already built. And then the next few slides, just going to show you a quick flavor. So, we work in a variety of different industries within retail, within finance, within sales organizations, marketing. But these here you're looking at some finance dashboards. So whether you're looking at accounts receivable and you're trying to get data from different systems, so you have a dashboard that some of the data comes from SQL and the other data comes from Excel, you can combine and create a dashboard where the data is coming in real time from both data sources. And all of these samples that you're seeing here on the screen, one thing I would encourage all of you to do is to go to our website on ReportPlus.com, start a free trial there if you haven't already. And when you download our applications, the samples you see here, you can actually interact with them in the application. So all these samples you see here are come with our applications as the samples that are in there. So you can sort of get a real, experience them yourself of what you can build, the power of what you can build with ReportPlus. So let me, before I go any further in the presentation, let me actually jump right into a product demo. So give me a second here just to get everything set up. All right, so here I've opened the ReportPlus Desktop application. So this, for those of you that are new to ReportPlus, our desktop application is our newest member of the family. So it just was released about 2-3 weeks ago, and so we're really excited about it. We feel like it really builds on our story of allowing the modern worker to gain insight from wherever they are, whether they're on their mobile device, and now with ReportPlus Desktop, even if they're at their laptop or their desktop. So I'm on the home screen of ReportPlus right now, and what I'm going to do, I'm just going to show you a quick example of how you can quickly connect to a data source, in this case something that's on Dropbox and Excel file, and then visualize that and then be able to share that quickly. So it's a really simple example, and then I'll show you how this looks on the other devices. So what I'll do is I'll click on create a new dashboard, and then I'll choose the plus sign here to add a new data source, and I'll come down to and choose Dropbox. And once I'm here, I'll just log into, I'll log into my Dropbox account that I've set up. I'll sign in. So what ReportPlus allows you to do is all that, the folders and the data that you have on Dropbox, once this loads, you can actually see all that data. So whether you're looking at Google Drive, so the similar ones to this example would be SharePoint, Google Drive, and Dropbox. And then when we add Box and OneDrive, those will also be very similar. But regardless if you were connecting to SQL or to analysis services, you would go in there, you'd see all your tables, all the views you've created. So ReportPlus is really a great tool to extend your, what you're doing with your business. So if you're already using SQL, you're already using analysis services, it's a great way to extend that investment you've made and visualize that data, and then make it accessible to anyone in your organization. So in this sample here, I'm going to choose some box office data. So this is some movie box office data of all the films, the highest grossing films of the last, I think ever. So I'll just use this data here and show a quick example of what you can do. So I'll grab and this screen here is our editor screen, just to give a little background. This screen is where you actually create your visualizations. So you have your pivot. So if you're familiar with Excel or other popular BI tools, this experience is very similar. We feel like we've made it a little easier to build and understand. So what I'll do here is I'll grab my total box office number, and this is in the millions. So that gives me a total so far, and then I'll grab the actual films. I'll drop that into my rows here, and then on the right-hand side, I can choose my different visualization types. So I can choose a chart here, a column chart, and then I can edit this to filter by the top 10. So let's say I've seen every single film, probably not really useful because there's a lot of films, but if I wanted to see just the top 10 and sort that and be able to share this, I could do that. So here I've already done that, and now I can see that Avatar was the highest grossing. I don't know if this is up to date. I think it is not. I tried to use something recent. And you can just, so think of this if you were using, if you were looking at sales data, if you were looking at your marketing data, you'd be able to quickly pull in that data and see, gain an insight, see something that's going on in your business, and then share that. So if I was done here, I would just click done, and now I'm actually at the dashboard screen. So I'm editing a dashboard. I can resize that individual visualization, and I can make, customize it. I can change the theme, so different colors, and obviously if you have more data points, these themes look more richer, and I'll show you some examples of that. Some finished dashboards so that you could get a better concept of that. So if I was done with this, I would simply save this. And then once I've saved, I can now share this. So I simply just type in the person's email address that I'm looking to share this. Well, I can't share it myself. So let's share with my work email. And you can type a message, and this person will actually receive an email with a link. And if they haven't downloaded ReportPlus, they'll be able to start a free 30-day trial. They'll open ReportPlus, and they'll see the dashboard that you've shared with them. So within, let's say I created 5 visualizations here that was a view of my finance data, and then shared that. Within a couple minutes, I could have, all the people within my finance department fully up to speed and informed with the metrics that I want them to have access to. So with that, let me show you a few finished samples. And you guys, like I said before, you guys have these same samples. If you start a free trial of ReportPlus, you can get access to the same samples. So here we have a email marketing campaign dashboard. And I can filter this data. One of the features that we have is dashboard filters, where you could filter by either a specific data point, so let's say like a sales region or a product, or by date in this case. So if I wanted to look at just month-to-date versus year-to-date versus last year, and then any of these visualizations I can expand and hover over, and then filter just this individual visualization as well. And if you were going to present this, on a larger screen, let's say in a meeting, we have a full screen mode here that sort of just cleans up the interface, and then you're able to just focus on what the data shows and present that to your colleagues. So that's a email marketing example. Another example that I wanted to show you here was a retail store. So let's say you have different retail stores across a country. In this case, this data is a company that has retail stores across the U.S. And then on the right-hand side, I can just click on a different state and see, okay, what was my top seller, for this state? Well, in Kentucky, it was shoes, and maybe in Louisiana, it was throw pillows. So you get a different variety. You can quickly get an overview of what's going on in your business. And then here, so this actually gives me the opportunity to show you. So if I change themes here, so if you want this to get a closer look to match your brand, or to tell that story that you're trying to tell with your data, you can do that here by choosing one of our different themes. And we have some lighter themes, and we have also some darker themes as well. Okay, so let me back out of this. And then I showed you share before. Another key feature that's pretty useful and is popular with ReportPlus users is the ability to export. So if you want to export these visualizations and these charts to a PowerPoint presentation, you can do that pretty easily with ReportPlus. You just pop in here and you choose the visualizations that you're looking to export. and it'll actually make each one of these a slide in a PowerPoint presentation. So obviously we know that a lot of the reasons that people create visualizations is they're trying to make a point in a presentation that they're giving. So this is just an easy way for you to transition from using ReportPlus to using PowerPoint and having those visualizations already in your presentation. And we support other formats. You can take a simple screenshot and export that, or you can also export to PDF. And then this allows some options here for branding. So you can have a branded presentation with your logo, create those visualizations within ReportPlus, and then quickly export that with your branding on it. And you're ready to go, you're ready to present. Okay. The next thing I wanted to show you was just give you a look at how this looks on our iOS application. So ReportPlus iOS. Also, if you're interested in downloading that, you can just go to the App Store and search for ReportPlus, and you'll be able to find it pretty easily. So let me just share my iPad screen here. All right. And now you all know my passcode. So let me find ReportPlus. So this is the ReportPlus iOS application. So that same experience that you got on desktop from a feature perspective of allowing you to create and view dashboards and share them, you get that same experience on iOS as well. So we really feel like when you compare us to the other tools out there, they have this very outdated look at BI where you have to create on a desktop, and all your people that view your report, they're just consumers, and they don't really have any ability to gain their own insights or do their own thing. And with our application, they're empowered. They can do that. They can do it on iOS. They can do it on desktop. So if I was to create a dashboard similar to how I did on desktop, it works the same way. So I'm looking at my Dropbox here. I can grab an Excel file here, and then I can easily create a visualization just as I did on desktop. So you'll see that no matter where you learn how to use ReportPlus, we've tried to keep the interface fairly similar so that you can start creating something on desktop and then finish creating that and collaborate with someone, through the mobile device as well. All right. So let me actually show. So that's on your iPad, and then the last. So far this has gone smoothly. Usually, yeah. And there might be I didn't mention this, but there might be a delay when I'm showing the iPad and the iPhone, just because I'm using Air Server, another piece of software to project it wirelessly. So I apologize for that. But if you download it yourself, you'll see how instantaneous it is. All right, so let me actually share. Let me remove my iPad here. All right, so this is ReportPlus for iOS on my iPhone. So I have an iPhone 6. I've opened the application here. I'm signed into the same account. And now you can see that I can quickly view my recents. If I've marked any favorites, one thing I didn't mention is you can favorite a dashboard, and then I can quickly come here and view that favorite whenever I need to. But the same samples that you were able to view on desktop, you're able to view on your iPad, you can view on your phone. So all those metrics that you're looking to to keep track of, obviously the number one place and the number one device that you always have on you is most likely your phone. So we feel like with ReportPlus, we probably have one of the best experiences on the phone, and it's where, when we look at our users, where they actually access their dashboards after they create them is almost always on the phone. So everyone, it's just really convenient, right? You have the metrics that you're looking at, whether it's your sales or your A&R, whatever you're looking at, you can just pull that up easily on your phone and have that and be aware of what's going on in your business. So another feature here that I'll just highlight real quick, if you have data that's that is driven by dates. So if you have yearly data, that has monthly data down to daily sales. You can pull that into ReportPlus and actually drill up and down into that data. So right now I'm looking at the year-to-date, so I'm looking at January to July, but if I wanted to click on a particular month and drill down, I can look just at May and see if there was any fluctuation spikes in the metrics that I'm looking at. In the same way that on desktop I was able to share the dashboards and the visualizations, I can do that here with ReportPlus iOS as well. So that's ReportPlus on the 3 platforms, and that happened without a hitch, so I'm happy. Because sometimes those things can get, the wireless technology can get a little buggy. So let me get back into, I don't know if should we ask any questions, or should I just sort of finish up?
Yeah, actually, if anybody has any questions as we've been going through, please feel free to submit them on the question panel, and we can actually take a look at them.
Sure.
Right up here. You're going to pop out your little questions panel there, that little arrow. Let's see what we've got. We've got some good questions here.
Okay. Okay, so I'll answer the first question here that I see by Gert Larson. He's asking, will desktop ever come to the Mac? So it's something that we're considering. We really wanted to get this version of the Windows application out first and get that reaction first. So, but it is something that we have that we're considering, but it's not something that's planned yet. Let me read another question here. Okay, so the second, so this is a good question. The second question here is, can you embed? So I mentioned ReportPlus Embedded, where you can put those dashboards in other applications. So the question here is, can you embed a report builder? So allow a user of a third-party application where ReportPlus has been embedded to build their own reports. So the answer to that is, today you can't do that. Right now you can embed, and you embed only the viewing capabilities. So all the interactions that I showed you as a viewer, that's what the experience that your users would get in your application. But that is something, this is something that's on our roadmap and is planned. So we will be adding that creator authoring experience to the embedded product that we have. Charles said I'm doing a great job so far, so thank you. If I have a ReportPlus license, create a dashboard and send it to my coworkers, do they also need a ReportPlus license? So they don't, because they can start a trial. So they will get a 30-day trial if you share it with someone who who's never used ReportPlus, and you share a dashboard with them. They can start a 30-day trial to use it. Then after those 30 days, they do need a subscription to ReportPlus. The next question here is, can you drill into other dimensions besides date and time? So yeah, another really good question. The answer right now is you can. It's only, we only have that feature for date and time. But this is also something that we'll be working on. It's planned as well. Okay, so one question from Mario is, and I'm not sure if I fully get this one. How can you implement this feature on Android? So we do have an Android application. It's a viewer only, so you can view all the dashboards. I'm not sure if he's talking about embedding. So Mary, if you want to give some more detail on that question, I can answer. The next question was, will this webinar be available for viewing later? So yes, it's okay that you were late. There's no punishment. You can view it later. We'll share that with everyone through email. Yeah. So okay, next question. Do you want me to keep going through questions? Sure. Yeah, no, they're good questions. Actually, you guys are getting to the stuff that I was going to talk about. All right. So the next question is, can I talk about the licensing model for the embedded version? Sure. So and I recognize that name, Fabian. So thank you for that question. So yes, the embedded version is, if you're familiar with our DevTools products, there's some significant differences around how it's priced. So DevTools products, and some people this might be a little over your head, but just bear with me because there's a mix of audiences on the phone right now. So for our DevTools customers, you get those DevTools products, and it's royalty free. You pay for it, you get the code, it's yours. With ReportPlus, you embed the dashboards, and you still need to pay. Right now what we have is a user-based model, so you'll still need to pay a per user price for your application. So that's a key sort of difference. And obviously the value there is that you're not having to build or maintain all the interactions and the connectivity to the data. We do that, and that's part of what the cost that you're paying for. Okay, all right. So I have a few more questions, but Jess is telling me to go back to my presentation. So keep on asking the questions, and I'll answer some more of them towards the end here. I think I've sort of breezed through a lot of what I wanted to cover. So let me get back to my presentation here. So as I showed you in the different samples in the application, whether it's finance or marketing dashboards that marketing data that you're looking to visualize, or even sales data, you can do all of that with ReportPlus. All right, so this feature is sort of related to the questions that you guys are asking, because there's a lot of things that we have that are on our roadmap. So things that are really coming up soon is what I'm covering here. So some of the things I've already mentioned, Box and OneDrive, we're going to continuously add new data sources. We'll have a big effort behind adding new data sources, and that'll be driven a lot by you and our users' feedback on what data sources you'd like to be pulled into ReportPlus. So if you're interested in adding, if there's things that we don't talk about, but there's ideas you have as a user of ReportPlus, on the ReportPlus page you can suggest ideas. So I would encourage you to do that. And data sources, that goes for data sources as well. We'll also be adding new visualization types. So the two that'll come first is tree maps and sparklines. So these are two that we don't support today that we've gotten requests for, so we'll be adding those. We'll be adding additional templates for popular data sources. So for all our cloud data sources like Facebook, Twitter, Google Analytics, App Figures, Salesforce, Microsoft Dynamics CRM, and any of the future ones that we add, we'll have some easy-to-use templates where you'll just sign in with your username and password, and we'll create a best practice template for you based on that data source. So that's something that is planned for and we'll be working on. We'll have a richer table experience or grid experience, so you'll be able to sort and have just a little bit more interactive experience with tables. Then one feature that I'm really excited about is the ability, what we're calling social BI, which is the ability to comment on a dashboard or a visualization and then have a conversation with the people that you've shared that dashboard with. So this is the ability to have like a threaded conversation around your data. So it's great that you can view those dashboards, but if you can have an actual conversation with the people that know the answers of why something might have happened in a certain month or with a certain salesperson. If you can ask those questions right within the app, we feel like that'll bring a lot of power to ReportPlus and hopefully help you guys run your businesses better. And then the last one here is support for embedding in external web applications. So one thing that I sort of didn't mention on the web is right now you can embed within internal applications. And what I mean by that are applications that are within your network that are on-premise. But we're going to be able to support external, either cloud or web applications. So that's sort of a quick high-level overview of what's coming down the pipe for ReportPlus. And just to recap, one of the reasons we named this webinar, and our tagline right now is affordable analytics for all, is we're being very disruptive with our pricing. At $99 a year, you get access to everything I've just covered here, and you're able to visualize that data from any device, connect to all those different data sources, and all that is included. So all those platforms are included in that one price. So really you're getting a subscription to the ReportPlus service across all your devices. And then a few things to know is with the ReportPlus server that allows you to deploy this on-premise, there is an extra fee associated with that. It's $5,000 for that server. But that's obviously when you're looking to deploy for a much larger group of people. And then for ReportPlus Embedded, there's SDKs available. If you go to our website and you click on the Learning tab, at the bottom of that page, there's some documentation around the technical requirements of what has to do with embedding. And if you're interested in actually embedding, there's a contact us form there. Just reach out there, and we'll, salesperson will reach out, and we can help you get that started. With one thing to note too with embedded, if you download ReportPlus Desktop, you could actually get that SDK just by clicking the advanced settings when you install, and you can try out embedding on desktop without even asking us, for any access. It comes with it out of the box. Okay, so I'll just encourage you guys again, if you haven't, to start your free trial at reportplus.com. And start building some dashboards, get a sense of how easy it is. Our feedback has been from our customers that the experience with building with ReportPlus is way easier than most of our competitors, and we really feel like we're going to continue to double down on that experience. And we want to help build the best solution for you guys so that everyone's informed, everyone makes the best decisions off their data. And one thing, last thing I'll mention before I get back to questions is, please check out the website, start your trial, but check out the learning page, because there's also videos that we just released that really show you, similar to what the demo I showed you, helping you create your first visualization, just giving you an introduction to ReportPlus, really talks about different things in more detail. So there's over 30 videos, check those out as well. And then the last thing there's one more thing that I'll mention. For all you guys that have stuck around, there's a little reward if you take us up on this offer. We're offering to anyone who's on the call, if you want us to help you create your first dashboard, we'll do an hour sort of consultation with one of our solutions consultants here. They'll help you get up and running. So if you just reach out to me, and I'll give you my contact information on the next slide, I can get that process started. So this is, just for you guys for joining as a little gift if you're up for it. Let me come back here. So questions or feedback, please email them to me. It's bmasur@Infragistics. Or if you're interested in that dashboard and us helping you build your first dashboard, email me as well. So with that, I'll thank all you guys, but I'll get to the questions. So let me pull those up. We got a good amount of questions. So I'll try to get through all of these. All right. So how do I update a dashboard again? So I think you might be Esteban who asked this. I think you might be referring to refreshing the data. So on the dashboard, when you're viewing it, there's a refresh button. So you just hit that refresh button, and the data refreshes in real time from your data source. We also there's a setting in the settings of the dashboard. You can set like an interval for when that data is refreshed. So if you want it to be refreshed every 2 minutes or 30 minutes, you can do that as well. Do you support JSON data sources. Right now we don't, but this is, you guys are, this is great because it's all the stuff that we're working on. So one of the discussions is we have Box and OneDrive. Those are the two next that are pretty much in development right now and we'll be releasing shortly. Then the two next ones are being able to pull an in-memory data source from, so if you're one of our developer tools Windows developers, you'll be able to pull a data source from that application and sort of extend it with ReportPlus. And then the other one we're working on is this JSON data sources. Arthur, if you have an example of this, because right now what we really need is real data. We need some real examples. So if you have an example of this that you could share so that we can help us build a more complete solution on this, please email me and we'll use that and we'll sort of get your feedback as well on that. So the other question here from Nicola is, when will updates of the current version be available? Calculated fields are not currently available. So I think you're talking about on the desktop. So you're right. In our iOS application, one thing that I didn't show is you have the ability to create your own functions, your own calculated fields. So that application has been around for 3 years. So there's a pretty robust set of formulas that you can use, and within ReportPlus, you can. And if you want more information on that, there's check our user guide on the learning page. You can find it. But for desktop, that's not available. So that's something that is on the backlog. It's probably not going to come as soon as probably you'd hope, but we do have it as something on the backlog. So Rajesh has a question, will it be possible to have a dashboard based on dynamic real-time data rather than static data, like real-time performance monitoring? So I think you're referring to like some streaming data coming through and having the dashboard sort of update in real time. So we don't support that right now. Yeah, so that's no. Reach out to me if you have. I'd like to talk to you more about that. If you have some time, we can talk more. But that's not something we currently support. We support, if you're using SQL, or as the data is updated in that SQL data source, when you update your dashboard in ReportPlus, you can see it in real time. But I think what you're referring to here is like streaming data, which we don't support. Is there any scheduling? Galina is asking, is there any scheduling functionality? Right now, currently, no. I think you're referring to like scheduling a report to be sent. There isn't, and I feel like I'm saying this a lot, but this is something that we have on the roadmap. We have, what I showed you was in the roadmap slide is the soonest things we'll be working on. This is one that we'll be working on, over the next probably half year. And we'll be looking at alerting, scheduling, so all the things to sort of help you be aware of what's going on with your metrics without actually coming into the application. So this is definitely something that we'll be working on. Are there other interactive features, for example, slicers or filters that can cut across multiple charts, changing product categories or divisions? So right now, the interactive features that we have are dashboard filters and local visualization filters. We don't, I think you might be referring to, we don't have this interaction where you can click on one chart in a dashboard and then it updates the other visualizations. That's not something we do support. We will be working on some improvements to those filters just to make it easier to build and to interact with. But yeah, so that's. So the next question is, we're developing an application on Android. Can we use ReportPlus as a module integrated? So right now we don't support embedding for Android. It's something that we probably won't do for quite some time, maybe more than 6 months out. But just because there's not as much demand on Android, we haven't focused on embedding on Android. Will you allow third parties to create video? I think I might have answered that. So that's authoring through embedding. So that's on the roadmap, but not currently. Currently, you can only view. Can report security be tied to Windows Active Directory security? Dwayne asks. So yes, so for ReportPlus Server, it integrates with Active Directory, and you can tie that to the permissions of your security groups in Active Directory. And if you want to find out more, there's more information on the website about on the page for ReportPlus Server, and then in some of the learning documentation. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Can the mobile viewer store data locally so visualizations can be viewed offline? This was Anton. So yeah, the answer is yes. So you can. What we do when we connect to a data source, what we do is we connect to that data source in real time. So there's no server-side component that we're using. The device is actually reaching out to that data source. But then once you've loaded it once on your device, what we do is we cache the snapshot of that data locally on your device. So it's still secure because we're not storing that on any extra server or in our cloud. So we do store a cache, and then when you're offline and you don't have internet access, you can still view that cache data. So you still do have offline access. And so it's actually a feature that you turn on in the settings of a dashboard to have offline access. Can you explain the difference between the cloud and ReportPlus Server licensing? Is there any difference for the end user? The difference in licensing, it's the same price per user. There's an extra cost for the ReportPlus Server of an annual fee to help maintain and upgrade that server. But that's about it. There's no other difference in pricing. For the end user, the only difference is that they now have also a web application with the server. Other than that, they still get iOS, they still get Android, they still get desktop. The one other smaller difference is the sharing is a little different, since the server is usually like purchased by more of it's more meant to be deployed with a large group. It's more centralized of a solution, so the sharing is defined by an admin, instead of in the cloud version where sharing is defined by each individual user. What is a larger group of people? So I think you're asking, what do I mean by a larger group of people? So I mean, if you're looking to deploy ReportPlus with hundreds or thousands, like quickly, you can do that through our web app, and then all they need is that link, and if our application is installed on your server and set up, they just need a link to view ReportPlus dashboard. Can you say a few words about connecting to Analysis Services Cube in terms of security, where data resides when it's refreshed? So we have a pretty tight integration with Analysis Services. We pull in all your dimensions and measures off your tables and views. The data resides on your cube, so we don't store your data anywhere other than a local cache on your device. That's just a snapshot of what you're visualizing. But other than that, we don't store. And then around security, which I really didn't talk about, we have you can have the passcode access, so you can set up ReportPlus to only open on your iOS device using a passcode, or you can have it set up where you need to have a touch ID, so you have to put your your fingerprint on it. So we've integrated with all the latest iOS security standpoints. And one other thing I'll mention is we also support Mobile Iron. So if you use Mobile Iron as your mobile device management platform, you can use ReportPlus within it, and then through Mobile Iron you can, as an administrator, wipe a device clean of all the data. And so there's sort of certain administrative features that you can use through, if that's what you're interested in doing. Is the product in other languages? Esteban asked. So the iOS version is in 10 different languages. we could probably, I don't know off the top of my head, but I know Spanish is one of them. I believe it's Spanish, Italian, German, French. Yeah, I don't remember offhand. Japanese for sure. So iOS is supported in 10 different languages. The desktop version is currently only English and Japanese. And same for Android. Can we have a demonstration of dynamic filtering cascading? So I'll try to do that, sure. So I think you mean, what I'm going to guess you mean by dynamic filtering is, let me actually, what I think you mean. So dynamic filtering, I'm going to, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm going to show you what I think it means, but you can hit this play button here, and I can have the filters sort of be cycled through. So if I had this presenting on a television, a display screen in my office, I can have the ReportPlus sort of filter through different data points. So in this example, I'm looking at my different headcount and HR data for my different offices. I could have this displaying on a larger screen, and I could have each office be filtered through every couple of seconds. So I hope that's what you meant. If it's not, feel free to clarify. So let me. Okay, so Gert, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, is asking the larger group regarding desktop. So yeah, so the larger group you could also use with, so ReportPlus can be used by an individual user, but it's for all organization types. If you have a deployment of 1,000 employees or 10,000, we have a system here on our side that we call the EMM, that's our Enterprise Mobility Management System, that we can get you set up and with all those users, whether it's something that you're going to use our cloud or you're going to use our server. Okay. Can you comment on how ReportPlus performs with large or big data sets? So I'd say ReportPlus is not going to be your tool if you're looking at millions of rows of data, at least as of right now. Right now we have a limit on iOS for 50,000 rows, which we're actually going to raise to 100,000 rows, just because the performance on mobile and the technology of those devices is gotten a little better. So we're going to increase that. And then on the desktop, you probably can process more than that. We've tested higher amounts, but there is it's quick. I'd say up to 100,000. Then when you go beyond that, there's going to be some load time. So Papa has a question about the dynamic filters. I'm not sure I understand it. So if you, Papa Ali, if you want to just email me directly, hierarchical filter, for example, by year, month, day. I think I know what you mean, but reach out to me directly. We can talk about what you exactly mean. Anton asks, can visualizations be displayed by the embedded client be shared? If so, could you explain how this is achieved? So this, I think what you mean is if you've embedded a dashboard in your application or a visualization, can your user share that? So this is something that we are currently working on. So our desktop team and our iOS team are adding, so this won't be on the web, I'll just clarify that. We won't have this in the next few months on the web, but we will have it for desktop and iOS, where you can embed a dashboard, and through the embedded process, you'll be able the user of your application will be able to share that dashboard. So yes. Okay. I think that's it. I don't see any other questions, and we're almost at 3 o'clock, so I guess I did good on time. So if there's no other questions, I'll just wrap up the webinar. Like I said earlier in my presentation, I would encourage all of you to start a trial, check out for yourselves how easy it is to create visualizations and dashboards. And then if you have questions, reach out to us and reach out to me at my email address. And I'll display that here again. And that's it. That's all we have today. So thank you guys for joining. I hope you have a good rest of your day and hope you get started with ReportPlus. Thanks.